Lena Park has no intention of texting a billionaire. She just needs her son to stop crying. It's well past midnight, that cold, hollow hour when the city outside seems to be holding its breath. She sits on the floor of her apartment's cramped kitchen, knees pulled to her chest, a threadbare blanket draped over her shoulders. The lights are out, not by choice, but because the utility company doesn't offer extensions for sympathy. From the bedroom, Eli wails. His bottle tonight was mostly water. Lena tries not to look at the empty formula can on the counter. With trembling hands, she picks up her phone, her thumb hovering over her brother's name. Drew has helped before, not happily, but he's come through. She hates asking again. But this isn't about pride. It's about a baby who can't understand why his stomach aches. She types, "Drew, I'm so sorry to bother you again. I need $50 for formula. Eli's almost out. I get paid Friday. I'll pay you back, please." Her thumb shakes as she hits send. The cracked screen had caused the autofill to glitch, but she doesn't notice. She just sets the phone down, rests her forehead on her knees, and waits. 5 minutes later, her phone buzzes. "I think you meant to send that to someone else." Lena blinks, sitting up straight. She grabs the phone and stares in horror. A cracked screen autofill error. She texted a complete stranger. Her stomach plummets. "I'm so sorry," she types. "Please ignore." She locks the screen and tosses the phone aside, pulling the blanket tighter. Another failure to add to the list. 3 blocks away, from the top floor of a penthouse that surveys half the city, Rowan Cade stares at the message on his private line. He never gives this number out. Not to the press, not to assistants, only to family. And that list has grown shorter every year. The text isn't spam. It's not a grift. It is raw and real. He reads the words again, seeing what's between the lines. "Eli's almost out. I get paid Friday." This isn't just a request. It's a mother bargaining with her own dignity. Most nights, he would have ignored it. Instead, he types back, "Is your baby going to be okay?" Lena stares at the message. What kind of stranger follows up? Her first impulse is to block him, but something about the simple question makes her pause. "We'll manage," she writes back. "Sorry again." "I can help," comes the reply. "No strings." She scoffs out loud. "Thanks, but I don't take money from strangers. Smart policy. I'm Rowan now, not a stranger." She doesn't reply. She rocks Eli back to a fitful sleep. She cries with the quiet grief that comes not just from being broke, but from being exhausted by it. Then she does something she never imagined she would. She sends her payment app handle. 3 seconds later, her phone buzzes. $4,800 received from Rowan Cade. Lena sits frozen. She blinks twice, opens the app, and checks again. $4,800. "This is too much," she types. "I only needed $50. "It's already yours, no catch, one less thing to worry about." She didn't cry when she was laid off. She didn't cry when her car was repossessed. She didn't cry when Eli's father vanished after learning she was pregnant. But this breaks her. Her hands shake. "Thank you," she whispers. "I don't even know what to say." "You don't have to say anything," he replies. "Just take care of Eli." And then she sees it. She never told him her son's name. Lena can't sleep. Even after Eli finally drifts off, his full belly slowing his breathing to peaceful puffs, she sits wide awake, holding her phone like it might disappear. Across the city, Rowan Cade leans back in a leather chair that has never felt comfortable. He's still at the office. He always stays late, not because he has to, but because home doesn't feel like home. Not since. He shuts the thought down. The glass walls of his penthouse office reflect the skyline like a cold, empty painting. His phone buzzes again. "Why would you help someone like me? You don't even know me." He stares at the words. Most people who message him want something. This is the first time in ages someone has simply asked why he cared. So he tells her a piece of the truth. Because once, someone helped me when they didn't have to. I've never forgotten it. There's a pause, then, I want to pay you back. His brow lifts. For what? For the formula, for the kindness, for not ignoring me. Another beat. I'll figure it out. Rowan's jaw clenches. She isn't asking for more. She is still holding on to her pride with both hands, even while drowning. He respects that. So he sends one more message. Tell me what kind of formula Eli needs. I want to send more. Not money, supplies. Lena hesitates. Only if it's really no strings. I don't do strings, he replies. Strings are for people playing games. The next morning, Lena wakes to a knock on her door. Her heart stops. No one ever knocks. She pulls on a hoodie, walks quietly to the door, and peeks through the peephole. A delivery driver stands with 4 massive boxes. She opens the door slowly. Delivery for Lena Park? He asks. She nods mutely and signs. She opens the boxes on the living room floor, hands trembling. Formula, diapers, wipes, bottles, organic purees, even clothes. Not cheap stuff either, the kind you see on influencer accounts. At the bottom is a small envelope. She opens it. He should have what he needs. Eli deserves better than barely getting by. Rowan. There's no logo, no return address, but she feels it in her chest, a strange warmth that sits somewhere between gratitude and suspicion. Who is this man? Lena doesn't touch the boxes for hours. They sit in the corner like a dream she's afraid to wake from. Eli has fallen asleep in her arms after a full bottle, his first in days, and she hasn't moved. She just sits there, watching his tiny chest rise and fall, wondering what world she just stepped into. She isn't naive. People don't do things like this without a catch. But there is no viral video, no receipt, just silence. And that name again. Rowan. Not exactly common. Lena reaches for her phone and opens a browser. She has to know. She types Rowan Cade. The results load instantly. Rowan Cade, CEO of Apex Meridian Labs. Net worth $11.8 billion USD. Private tech mogul, former military, media shy, widowed, no children. Her stomach flips. This isn't just some generous stranger. This is him. The billionaire who owns half the patents in AI medicine, the one reporters call the ghost mogul. There are only 3 official photos online, all serious, unsmiling. The man doesn't just live in another world, he builds them. So why is he texting her? Why did he send thousands in baby supplies to a woman with no job and a leaky roof? Lena's hands shake as she clicks on their message thread. She stares at his last text. Eli deserves better than barely getting by. It doesn't sound like a billionaire. It sounds like someone who's been close to starving and never forgot it. She types, hesitates, then sends. Why are you really doing this? He doesn't answer right away. Her heart sinks. Maybe he regrets it. Her phone finally lights up. Because I know what it's like to lose someone you can't save, my sister, and because no child should ever feel that kind of pain. She stares at those words, stunned. They aren't transactional. They are just true. I don't want your pity, she replies. It's not pity, he says. It's recognition. Lena leans her head against the wall. Her phone buzzes again. Do you work? The question hits like a jab. I did, until Eli and the company folded and the affordable daycare shut down. So, no, not right now. What was your field? Biochem research, mostly diagnostics. I interned at Novalite before things got complicated. You were in research? Yeah, but I also know how to scrub toilets, make lattes, and calculate taxes I can't afford to pay. She doesn't expect a reply, but he surprises her. Come by Apex Meridian Labs tomorrow. 11 a.m. Ask for Sloan. No strings, just a conversation. Lena blinks. You're offering me a job? I'm offering you a chance to take one back. Lena hasn't been inside a downtown office tower in nearly 2 years. The last time, she wore blistering heels and a temporary contractor badge. Today, she wears her cleanest jeans, a thrifted blouse, and a blazer she hasn't zipped since before her pregnancy. She tightens her grip on Eli's carrier and steps through the rotating glass doors. The Apex Meridian lobby is nothing like she expected. No marble, no ego, just clean lines and a quiet efficiency that makes her feel instantly underdressed. Hi, I'm Lena Park. I'm Lena. I'm here to see Sloan. The receptionist's face lights up with immediate recognition, which is unsettling. Of course, you're expected. 36th floor. Ms. Hart will meet you at the elevator. Expected? She follows the path, eyes darting to the awards behind glass, the busy energy of the place. This isn't a startup pretending. This is important. By the time the elevator doors open, her heart is pounding. A woman in her mid-40s with sleek black hair greets her. Lena, I'm Sloan Hart, Chief of Staff to Mr. Cade. He's in meetings, but he asked me to give you a tour. Lena follows her through a hallway lined with glass offices. I'm not sure what this is, Lena says finally. This whole thing feels like a setup. Sloan smiles. Mr. Cade doesn't do setups, he does precision. They stop at a wide conference room. He told me to show you this first, Sloan says, unlocking the door. Inside, it isn't a workspace. It's a fully furnished, soundproof nursery. A crib, a changing table, soft rugs, toys. Lena's hand flies to her mouth. Sloan's voice is soft. He thought it might help you feel more comfortable. Lena steps inside, heart aching. The room isn't just expensive, it's thoughtful. Every detail says someone paid attention. She turns back to Sloan. Why? Sloan's gaze holds hers. Because he knows what it feels like to walk in alone. 20 minutes later, Lena sits in a smaller meeting room, a fresh mug of coffee in front of her, Eli asleep beside her. The door opens and she looks up as Rowan walks in. Seeing him in person hits harder than she expected. He looks just like the photos. Tall, composed, expensive, but more real. Tired eyes. A man who built empires but hasn't smiled in a long time. Lena, he says as if it's the most natural thing in the world. Thanks for coming. She stands awkwardly. I wasn't sure if I should. You came anyway. That's what matters. He sits across from her. Before we talk about anything else, I want to be clear. You owe me nothing. This isn't a test. I don't believe in charity, but I do believe in investing in people. Lena stares at him. Why me? Rowan looks down for a moment, then up. Because I saw someone who didn't ask for a shortcut, who was willing to go without before letting her kids suffer. And someone like that, I'd trust with anything. Lena feels her throat tighten. He slides a folder across the table. Temporary position, 3 months. Finance, audit support, flexible hours. Pay is more than fair. If it's not a fit, you walk away. Lena opens it and blinks at the number. It's more than she made in 6 months at her old job. This is real. It is. She glances at Eli, then back at Rowan. And the nursery? He smiles, just barely. Also real. For a moment, they just sit there. Finally, Lena nods once. I'll take it. Lena shows up on her first official day, hair pulled back, minimal makeup, with Eli tucked against her chest in a soft sling. No one stares. That surprises her. The receptionist greets her with a kind, welcome back. Sloan meets her with coffee already in hand. Eli's space is ready, she says, walking Lena to a modest but sleek office. A wide desk, dual monitors, and a glass partition looking directly into the nursery. Eli is already cooing at a plush stuffed otter on the rug, oblivious. Lena sits down, hands hovering over the keyboard. She hasn't worked in over a year. But as she opens the audit logs, something familiar stirs. Her brain clicks back into gear. She knows what to look for. Baseline deviations, inconsistencies, patterns. It's like brushing off an old instrument and remembering the tune. She works quietly for an hour, only stopping when she sees Rowan standing outside her office. He's not in a suit today, just a black button-down, sleeves rolled. "May I?" he asks. She nods. "It's your company." He steps inside, glances through the glass at Eli, then turns to her screen. "Settling in okay?" "I haven't broken anything yet," she says. "Give it time," he replies with a ghost of a smirk. He looks at the monitor. "You're already in the reconciliations." "Figured I'd start with Q3. There are a few inconsistencies in vendor payouts." "You found that already?" She shrugs. "They're not well hidden." His expression becomes more thoughtful. "Anything feel off to you?" he asks. Lena hesitates. "I've only been in the system an hour, but yeah. Either someone's rounding in ways that make no sense, or someone's hiding something in the noise." Rowan's jaw tightens. "You don't have to dig deep yet. Start surface level." "Right," Lena says, "except I don't do surface level." He nods once. "Neither do I." Then he turns and walks out. That afternoon, a ping comes through the internal messenger from him. "Keep this just between us. If you find something that doesn't look right, bring it directly to me. No one else? Not even Sloan. Understood." Lena stares at the screen. "You expect me to find something?" "I expect you to see things others won't." She sits back and looks through the glass at Eli, asleep with the tiny stuffed otter tucked under his chin. For the first time in months, Lena feels like she's finally stepping into the right place. By her second week at Apex Meridian, Lena has a rhythm. She arrives early and dives deep into spreadsheets and data trails. She doesn't treat this job like a lifeline. She treats it like a mission. By Friday afternoon, she finds it. Not a smoking gun, but a pattern. A vendor name, Varex Holdings LLC, repeated just enough. The amounts always vary, always under internal audit thresholds. But they all share a strange trait. They're tied to non-existent project codes. Lena leans closer, double-checking. The payments are routed through a third-party holding company in Wyoming. Lena recognizes the structure instantly. It's a shell. Someone inside Apex Meridian is siphoning funds, slowly and strategically. She remembers Rowan's message. "Bring it directly to me." She copies the files to a flash drive, encrypts them, and slips it into her bag. Then she messages him, "I need 5 minutes. It's important." Rowan's office looks out over half the city. His desk is surprisingly bare. He glances up when she steps in. "You found something," he says, not a question. Lena nods and hands him the drive. He plugs it in and scrolls, his expression shifting from focused to concentrated. "You pulled this from Q3? "Yes, but it spans earlier quarters. The vendor doesn't exist. The payments route through a shell account in Wyoming." Rowan leans back. "You're right, it's clean. Too clean." "Which means whoever did it knows the system," Lena says. "Probably helped design the controls," Rowan adds. Lena crosses her arms. "You already suspected something." He looks at her. "I've been watching the numbers drift since late last year, but I couldn't get anyone in finance to chase it. So why not bring in an outside firm?" He hesitates. "I don't know who I can trust." Lena feels that settle in her chest like a weight. She understands that kind of isolation. "So what now?" she asks. "I want you to keep going," Rowan says. "Keep digging, but quietly. And if anyone asks, you're still reconciling back-end billing records. You're asking me to investigate your own company? I'm asking you to find the truth." She holds his gaze. "And if I find something ugly?" Rowan doesn't blink. "Then we deal with it." That night, Lena lies awake, replaying the conversation. What worries her most is what she'd already seen in Rowan's face. He already knows who it is. He just doesn't want to admit it. The next morning, she's at her desk by 7:30 a.m. This time, she digs deeper. The shell company, Varex Holdings LLC, is registered through a legal blind, specializing in anonymity. And this isn't lazy embezzlement, it's planned extraction. At 9:06 a.m., Rowan walks into her office. "Varex," she says before he can sit, "it's a holding shell. I traced 4 separate payments this month, routed through different department budgets, all under compliance thresholds. It's sophisticated." Rowan says nothing. He looks tired. "I need you to keep this on your machine only," he says. Lena nods. "Rowan, how long have you suspected this?" He looks at her, jaw set. "Long enough to know whoever's behind it doesn't care about this company or its people." "You think it's someone close to you?" "I know it is." "Why haven't you gone to the board?" "Because at least 2 of them are compromised. They've already shut down 1 internal audit." "So why me?" Rowan finally sits. "Because you don't owe anyone here anything, and you don't scare easy." The way he says it isn't flattery. It's truth. It feels like someone has finally seen her. "I want to show you something," Rowan says, sliding a folder across the table. She opens it. A face stares back at her. Mid-40s, clean cut, sharp suit. "Calder Voss," Rowan says. "Chief Financial Officer." Lena freezes. "He was hired 2 years ago. He pushed through changes to our internal systems, gave his own team exclusive oversight, and quietly removed several cross-check protocols. Nobody blinked." Lena closes the folder. "You think he's behind it?" "I know he is, but proving it, that's the hard part." "You want me to find the crack?" "Exactly." He stands to leave, but pauses. "By the way, Eli has fans in the nursery. He gave my assistant a lecture yesterday when she tried to take his order. 4 babbled syllables and a death stare." Lena laughs before she can stop herself. Rowan smiles, a small, worn thing, and then he's gone. That afternoon, Lena finds it. An email where Calder's assistant requested override access to procurement logs. The date matches the first recorded transfer to Varex. She adds it to a growing folder labeled Proof. Lena never trusts silence anymore. By Monday morning, she has documented 15 payments tied to Varex. But she isn't hunting mistakes. She's chasing patterns. She waits until Eli is settled before stepping into Rowan's office. He pushes a contract aside the moment he sees her face. "You found more?" "Yes, and I think I know how they're hiding it." She hands him a printed report. "The payment approvals all come from different logins, but the access point, every single time, is the same device ID. Someone's using ghost credentials." "Borrowing real logins," Rowan finishes. "That's why our auditors missed it." She watches his face. There's no panic, just the stillness of someone adding a final piece to a puzzle he never wanted to see completed. "What do you want to do next?" she asks. "We need confirmation, evidence that can't be deleted." He picks up his phone. "Sloan, I need Calder Voss scheduled for a check-in tomorrow. Mid-morning. Just me and him." Lena stiffens. "You're bringing him here." "If we spook him, he shuts it down. If we wait, he finds a way to make us the story." He looks at her. "You okay with that?" "I'm the one who walked into the fire. I'm not backing out now." He doesn't smile, but something in his eyes softens. "You know," he says, "most people would have taken the paycheck and played it safe." Lena raises her eyebrows. "Yeah, well, I stopped being most people the day I handed a bottle of watered-down formula to my son and pretended it was enough." That night, she sits at her kitchen table, laptop open, poring over backup logs. She knows she's getting close, and close is dangerous. midnight, her phone buzzes. It's Rowan. "Still awake?" "Obviously. You should sleep. You should follow your own advice. We're going to get him. But when we do, things are going to get noisy. I want you ready." I'm always ready. I just never had backup before. A few seconds later, a single message comes through. You do now. The meeting is set for 10 a.m. sharp. Lena sits at her desk, stomach churning. Rowan told her to stay in her office but monitor the security feed. She pulls it up on her second monitor and waits. At exactly 10 a.m., Calder Voss walks in with the ease of a man who believes the world owes him something. Rowan is already seated, no handshake. Appreciate you making time, Rowan says, voice steady. Always make time for the boss, Calder replies smoothly. I've been reviewing some of the quarterly financials, Rowan says, and I've noticed a few oddities. Growing pains, Calder offers. There's a vendor, Rowan continues. Varex Holdings. You're familiar? Calder barely blinks. Doesn't ring a bell. Interesting, for a company no one can seem to contact. Calder smiles thinly. I'll have my team look into it. You are your team, Rowan says. You approve those payments. For the first time, Calder doesn't respond. Rowan leans forward. I know what you've been doing. I have the logs, device IDs, the shell account structures, and you thought no one would notice. Calder's mouth twitches. You've been listening to your new pet accountant a little too closely, he says. Lena's stomach drops. He knew. Rowan doesn't flinch. Her name is Lena, and she saw what you were hoping everyone else would ignore. Calder laughs quietly. And let me guess, you two have been bonding late at night over spreadsheets and baby bottles. Lena's pulse spikes. Rowan's voice drops. You're done, Calder. No, Calder says, his smile returning. You're done. He reaches into his jacket and sets a small flash drive on the table. You think you're the only one who's been collecting data. The board's tired of your moods, your grief. You made the company vulnerable. What's on the drive? Rowan asks. Emails, messages, financials that look like mismanagement. That suggests you've been diverting funds to cover personal liabilities. And you're giving it to me because, I'm warning you, you've got until Friday to resign. Quietly. Walk away, and I won't bring Lena into this. She gets a nice severance. Everyone wins. Lena sits frozen. Rowan stares at him. Then, quietly, You underestimate me. No, Calder says, standing. I understand you better than anyone. You built something great, but you're too human now. And human doesn't survive here. He walks out. Lena closes the feed. They are at war now. Rowan doesn't return to his office. Lena can't sit still. She prints out her report, walks down the hallway, and enters his office without knocking. He's standing at the window, back to her. He doesn't turn when she speaks. I saw everything. You weren't supposed to. You really think I just sit at my desk? He turns slowly, his face unreadable. I told you this would get ugly. You didn't say he'd try to destroy you. Rowan looks weary in a way she hasn't seen before. He has the board. Then we find proof he can't spin. Rowan studies her face. You're still in? I was in the moment I figured out the math didn't add up. He looks at her report. When he finishes, he looks up. I have one last card to play. It's risky. Define risky. I've been working with someone off the books, former FBI forensic accountant. But if we bring her in now, it won't stay quiet. And you trust her? Yes. Then bring her in. Rowan hesitates. If Calder catches even a whiff of this, he'll come after you. Lena doesn't blink. Let him try. That night, the safe house is real. Rowan gives her an access code to a quiet brownstone loft, already stocked. She packs lightly. The loft is small but clean, safe. She sets Eli down in the portable crib waiting in the corner, then sinks onto the couch. A message comes from Rowan. Her name is Marin Okoye. She'll call in 10 minutes. Pick up. She's sharp, but she tests people. Lena replies with one word. Ready. 10 minutes later, the phone rings. Ms. Park. The voice is crisp, female, all business. "This is Marin Okoye. Jackson tells me you're the one who found the break. I'm the one who noticed. He's the one who knew something was wrong. Tell me everything." Lena takes a breath and starts talking. By the time she finishes, Marin is silent. Then, "You're good. Better than most auditors I've worked with. If even half of this is supported by the files Rowan sent, we have enough to bury Calder and everyone protecting him. So what happens next? We verify, then we bait the trap." Lena is running on adrenaline. It's been 36 hours since Calder's threat. Marin has been relentless, wanting timestamps, device IDs, everything. Lena handed it all over. Now it's time to draw Calder out. Marin's plan starts with a leak. That morning, Lena receives a file marked Draft Memo, Internal Realignment. It's a fake HR document about an upcoming audit of all executive-level vendor contracts. It's bait. The memo is loaded into the system on a path Calder's assistant can access. Then they wait. By noon, Marin sends a message. "We got a ping. Memo was accessed 3 times, twice from Calder's team, once from his own login. He knows." What's he going to do? Lena types. We're about to find out. 3 hours later, Rowan calls, his voice urgent. He's making his move. What did he do? He submitted an emergency ethics complaint to the board, claimed I bypassed finance and moved funds to bribe an external hire. You. Lena's chest tightens. He actually named me. He wants you gone first. Isolate, discredit, remove. And will the board buy it? Some might, but not all. Not if we go first. Rowan pauses. You ready to do this publicly? Lena looks at Eli, asleep in his crib. She thinks about the watered-down formula, the kindness of a stranger that was never about charity, but about belief. I've never been more ready. The press release hits at 6:43 p.m. Apex Meridian Labs investigates high-level financial misconduct. It's short, precise, and doesn't name Calder directly, but it references forensic irregularities and a full internal audit. The same minute it goes live, Marin's team hands their findings to the state attorney's office. 38 pages of documentation. At 8:05 p.m., Lena's phone rings. Unknown number. She answers. Impressive, Calder says. I underestimated you. Lena doesn't speak. You were just a name on a report, an accident, and somehow you became a problem. Funny, Lena says, her voice steady. That's how most women in power get noticed, by becoming inconvenient. Calder laughs, a dry sound. You think this ends here? I know it does. You won't win, Lena. Rowan may crawl out of this, but you're disposable. Always have been. She hangs up. She doesn't need to hear the rest. By morning, everything is different. The Apex Meridian press release has gone viral. One article mentions a single mother with a background in forensic accounting. They don't name her, but they will. Sloan texts at 8:02 a.m. Be ready, he's coming for a final meeting. Private, 9 a.m. Just him and Rowan. Should I be there? Lena replies. Rowan says no. I say yes. Stay back, but don't leave. Lena slips into the building through a secondary entrance and takes a private elevator to the nursery suite. At 9:01 a.m., she opens her laptop and pulls up the live feed. Rowan sits at the end of the table, calm. Calder enters, expression blank. Let's save each other the posturing, Calder says. I know what this is. Then you know why you're here, Rowan replies. I'm here because you'd rather burn the company to the ground than let someone else fix it. You didn't fix it. You hijacked it. I kept it alive when you were too consumed by grief to lead. Lena's stomach twists. You built your career off other people's blind spots, Rowan says. You targeted me because you knew I was distracted, but you didn't count on someone else watching. You mean her? Calder sneers. The woman you plucked from poverty and handed a desk like some redemption project? I don't need them to believe her, Rowan says. I have the data. I have the paper trail. I have federal agents who signed off on every piece of it. She didn't just notice, she proved it. Sloan steps into the frame. Gentlemen, security will escort Mr. Voss out. His badge has been deactivated. For the first time, Lena sees something break in Calder's expression. He turns and leaves. By 10:14 a.m., it's over. Calder is placed on leave. The board, blindsided, votes to suspend all related finance operations. Lena stands at the nursery window, watching the city. A quiet knock makes her turn. Rowan. He looks like he hasn't slept, but he's smiling, just barely. You were right, he says. About what? You don't scare easy. She shakes her head. Neither do you. He steps inside. Eli spots him and toddles over, hands raised. Without hesitation, Rowan scoops him up. How's my partner in crime? He asks. I want you to take tomorrow off, Rowan says to Lena. Rest. You've earned it. He looks at her. And the day after, I want to offer you something permanent. Head of Internal Audit, full autonomy, direct report to me. Lena stares at him. That's a big job. So is what you just did. The next morning, Lena wakes to sunlight and the steady rise and fall of Eli's breathing beside her. For the first time in months, her body doesn't tense. She's not reacting to the next problem, she's building forward. At noon, Rowan calls. You holding up? I'm okay, just weird being the center of a storm. You did choose it, Rowan says. You just didn't realize that until after you were in it. She smiles. There's a pause. I wasn't going to say this over the phone, he begins, but I know I trust you, and I don't say that easily. She sits down slowly. I trust you too, she says. Another pause. I'd like to see you, he says, if you're up for it. Lena glances at Eli. I think we're ready to come back. The reunion is quiet. Lena steps into the Apex lobby carrying Eli. Sloan greets her with a warm smile and hands her a badge. Lena Park, Director, Internal Audit. As the elevator doors close, Sloan says with a small grin, he's been watching the time since 7 a.m. Rowan is at the window when she enters his office. You came back, he says. I wasn't gone, she answers. He looks at Eli, who reaches his arms out. Rowan picks him up without hesitation. You kept your promise, she says. Which one? All of them. He nods. Let's make some new ones. 3 weeks later, Lena stands in a boardroom as the lead. Not an assistant, not a charity case. She is the woman who exposed a multimillion-dollar fraud and saved one of the country's most valuable tech firms. The meeting is short. This is the internal compliance framework moving forward, she says, clicking through a clean slide deck. Transparent, decentralized, triple audited. No one, not even the CEO, can bypass it. She doesn't look at Rowan, but she feels him watching. That night, she stays late. Shouldn't you be home by now? A familiar voice asks. Rowan leans against the doorway, coffee in hand. You told me to build the system, she says. I'm building it. He sets the coffee down. Come on, let's get out of here. They walk outside to a quiet street where the city feels a little more alive. Do you ever think about how weird this all is? She asks. Rowan gives a half smile. Which part? This whole thing starting because my screen cracked and auto-filled the wrong number. I don't think that was weird, he says. I think it was the first right thing that happened in a long time. Later that night, when Eli is asleep, Lena sits on the couch in her new apartment. Her inbox has one unread message from a private account Rowan created just for them. No subject, just a file attachment. She clicks it. It's a screenshot of the very first text she ever sent him. Drew, I'm so sorry to bother you again. Rowan has titled the file, The Accident That Wasn't. A message appears from him a moment later. Thought you might want to keep that. so you never forget what it took to find your way here. Lena types back, "You still think it wasn't an accident?" I think the universe is better at hiring people than HR. She laughs, letting the warmth of the moment settle in. She types one more message. "You ever think about what happens next?" "Every day," he replies. Then it comes. "I'd like you and Eli in my life permanently, not just as a team, as mine, if you're ready." She reads it twice, not because she doubts him, but because she'd never let herself picture it this clearly. Then she smiles and replies, "Ask me again in person." A minute later, her doorbell rings. Thank you for staying with us until the very end of this unforgettable story. If Lena and Rowan's journey moved you, please give this video a like and subscribe to the channel. Even greater, deeper stories are coming your way. Don't miss what's next.